know that Scott Jaworski mentioned in his shout out about just our maintenance team and what they did, but our campus looked great for that day. Yeah, it was just an all around, just really great event. Also, I would like to highlight our track coaches. Had an opportunity first year to have a Hummer House on the track team, and I just was so impressed by their just the way they supported the team. I mean, until you've seen Mr. Worthington run back and forth across the track to see the kids on both sides, yeah, that's a pretty amazing, just amazing coaches we have. So I was very blessed by them for this season.
Just to add to that too, thank you so much to Karen Kesterson and all the work that she did. And it was a really fun and tearjerker event. So congratulations to all.
Thank you, Tammy.
Two of my boys participated in the boys basketball camp that was put on by the new coach, Coach Newton. And from the pictures and being there, it looked like it was a great turnout, lots of participants. So thank you to him for putting that on. And then also for all the high school athletes that helped out. But it looked like it was a great time, and just glad so many participants were able to enjoy it.
Very good. Anything else? All right. We'll move on next to the Blue Future Awards. I have one I asked to nominate for this month, and so I'll give the room and those watching online some context. There is a elementary school mentoring program where members of the community or a school board can go in and mentor students once a week, once a month, whatever it is. And I have the opportunity to do that during the school year. And 2 weeks ago, I was in the office on a Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning. And if you've ever been to the elementary school at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, it is bedlam, absolute craziness. And I was sitting with the young man that I mentor, and he was having difficulty with his tablet. We were waiting on Stephen to come and help us with that. And we had a new family walk into the school that had an appointment to take a tour with Mr. Johnson. And I wanted to recognize today, really, Deb and Jennifer, who are here. Both of them got up from behind their desks, walked around and interacted with the mom and dad, got down on the kids' level and asked them questions about the grades they were in and were they looking forward to it. So the net of all of this is the old adage, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And I wanted to give you guys a Blue Future Award for making an excellent first impression. I told Dr. Glaze it would have been so simple to just ask them to wait in the corner, because you have students coming in and parents are lost and it's just wild in there. And you took the time to meet those kids and talk to the parents. And it was a great first impression for that family and for Tipton and Tipton Elementary School. So with that being said, I wanted to nominate and award each of you a Blue Future Award for making a great first impression. All right. Thank you guys. Oh, yeah.
Love to take the picture. It's not going to be as high quality as some others. Thank you guys.
Great job. Thank you.
Rob, can I jump on that?
Well, yeah.
That is so big now with the choice schools
Yep.
kids have. In one of our many moves when our kids were little, we went to the local elementary school over the summer and asked the secretary to meet the principal, take a tour, whatever. And she acted like we were aliens, and we went down the road to the charter school and got a tour. The principal ran out of his office, and guess where my kids went? So, I mean, that first impression is key. And
I could go. I mean, I've been in Mr. Leach's building and had the same experience with Karen you go to the middle school and have the exact same thing happen to you, but I was there that morning, and there isn't usually the amount of chaos in the high school that there is in the elementary, but that is a rodeo down there at 8 o'clock on Friday morning, and there are things moving around and kids flying and crying and parents coming in, and it would have just, and what I told him was, it was so easy just to say, Mr. Johnson will be right with you, and that extra effort of really asking them where they were moving from, what grade the kids were in, do they play sports, all those things. It was just fantastic. So again, but thank you for that, Eric. It is a big deal now that we have choice, right? So, so next on our agenda is comments for the community. We had no one sign up for comments on the agenda. And so we'll move into the consent agenda. And the consent agenda this evening is the approval of our actual agenda for this evening, the approval of the minutes from the regular session and the public hearing on May 13th and the executive session from the 29th of May. We have the approval of claims, payroll claims from May 23rd and June 6th, and accounts payable claims from June of 2025, and approval of the personnel report, which I will read at the conclusion of this. We had no field trips to approve, and we have 3 donations to approve. So with that being said, I'll read the personnel report, and then I'd look for a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. The personnel report for June 10th, 2025, from a certified staff perspective, we had a retirement of David Wall, the tech ed teacher from the high school. We had resignations from Kelsey Mitchell, 2nd grade teacher at the elementary school, and David Buxton, 5th grade teacher from the elementary school. We have recommendations, certified staff for Sam Phillips as the PE teacher for the elementary school, and for Lauren Schramm, our 2nd grade teacher in the Tipton Elementary School. Those 2 recommendations being effective August 7th. From a classified staff perspective, we also had Tammy Smith as a recommendation for summer school bus driver, James Voss for summer school bus driver, Rowan Maddox for IT summer help, and Marvin Moss for summer bus cleaning. And then non-renewal was Matt Gall, which was a corporation bus driver, and Victoria Knight from the cafeteria staff in the middle school. On the ECA staff, we have recommendations for Coral Gerhart for 7th and 8th grade assistant cheer coach, Mara Eisenhower for TES grade level team chair, Lexi Geiger for the grade level team chair for 1st grade, Emma Long for the grade level team chair for 2nd grade, Allison Ripberger for the TES grade level 3 team chair, Paula Stevens grade level team chair for the 4th grade, Christina Soul for the grade level team chair for special ed, and I'll need help with this, Dr. Lays. Is that Desha?
Yeah, Daisha, I wouldn't
Daisha.
have it up. I
Okay.
messed that one up too. I
Okay.
apologize.
Daisha,
Yes.
Daisha
Potash.
Potash. And that is the grade level team chair for special areas. And then Olivia Spidell for the JV volleyball coach for the high school. And then Aubrey, and it's Newserling, 8th grade volleyball head coach for the middle school. We also had resignations of Carol Sanquinetti as the key club advisor, Brett Stoker as an assistant football coach at the high school, Aaron Strayer for the academic coach of the Math Bowl, and Aaron Strayer for the academic coach of the Spell Bowl. And then I want to be very clear on reading this resignation of Dave Maddox. Dave has resigned as the corporation safety coordinator. This does not impact, and this does not impact Dave's role as the SRO for the corporation. It was an ancillary duty that he had. So that is the personnel report and clarification point. So with that being said, I would be looking for a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? No. All right. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We are on to you.
All right, good deal.
Say something real quick about Warren. I'd like to introduce her.
Yes, please
Oh,
do.
you know what?
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
That's good.
This
That's
is
on.
Warren Graham. She is a Tiffin grad, and we are delighted to have her on our staff. She graduated in 2021, and then went to IU Bloomington, where she studied elementary education and adolescent mental health. So we are very excited. We were so impressed with her during her interview, and our second grade team is delighted to have her. So welcome and thank you for joining.
Very
Yeah.
We would love to have you stick around for a really quick picture if you don't mind. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so superintendent's report. First of all, I did want to acknowledge what Andrea mentioned earlier about our basketball camps that have gone on, both boys and girls, have been very successful. Good numbers with all of them, so we're thrilled about that. Also had a very nice volleyball camp. So it's been great to see the kids here and engaged and involved. We've also have summer school going. So we have summer school really in 2 locations. We have it for our 2nd and 3rd grade students, and we also have it for high school for credit recovery. So that's a busy time, and everybody's working hard, and everybody's doing what they need to do to make sure that they pass that I-read. So we want to get that out of the way for everybody so that they can move on. So it's a really short superintendent's report, but I also wanted to talk to you all a little bit about, for some reason I'm not forwarding here. There we go. Just some upcoming agenda items, basically handbook changes and updates for the student athletic handbooks. We do have our annual MOU that we have with CASIC, which is our special education co-op, and then also with Kokomo Head Start. We are going to look at the 2026 budget calendar. It seems like we just did that, but now it's time for 2026 to come along. And then also a little bit of a discussion about communication supplemental materials fee, which the General Assembly is allowing us to consider. And then also the beginning conversation on the 26-27 academic calendar, as the other CASIC schools have already approved theirs, so that way we are not having to do changes. So we'll share those with you and get your feedback on how to and how we want to move forward on the calendars. Again, I do want to say that I really thought that graduation went extremely well, and again, and as was said earlier, the behind the scenes work is just amazing. And I do want to thank Mr. Leach and also thank the rest of the high school administration and Karen for doing just such an awesome job, and Adele. Again, it's great to watch it, and we had great speakers, and everything just went very well. So congratulations on a great graduation. Very well done. So
you all deserve kudos up around great. The Inferno look, the building just looked awesome. Made it easy to run graduation.
okay, now we have a special treat. I've always, you never want to upstage a dog, or, pet tricks or anything like that. I don't know whether Indy's going to do any pet tricks, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Melinda Fernand, and we're going to do our spotlight on schools.
Okay, well, a couple of years ago, probably 2022, for the Mayor's Youth Council, one of the teams wanted to focus on mental health in the school, and they had a 3-phase project that they did. And it was first to focus on having puppies come into the school during final exam week. That way, students during their advisory or during their lunch could sit. That's what the first page is. Kind of showed you what we've had. So we've been able to do that twice a year. And this last in May, we weren't able to have puppies because we had no litters. But we did have some dogs that came in, and the kids really look forward to that. And what's really kind of nice is you can see from the pictures, the kids are it's a good reset for them, and the kids that typically wouldn't come out and visit with people are spending for those 3 days an hour and a half of just sitting there with dogs and just kind of getting renewed. So that's been an excellent addition that we've been able to have. If you look at, the second page, it has just one picture of our calming room. That was something that we were able to, through a grant, from the foundation, to have put into the high school office area and teach, the corporation also was able to help sponsor and to purchase furniture for it. But this is a place where students, if they need a reset, that they can go, they can sit in the cabinets there. There's different fidgets, there's books, there's meditation books, there's things that they can color. There's noise canceling headphones for them to use. So it's a nice place to where they can come in, they check in either with Karen or with guidance, and they are kind of right there. It's right outside of Craig's office. So I encourage you, if you're in the high school office, stop in, take a look at it. And then Carrie can speak to how it's utilized. And then our third phase, we were able to implement, and that's our emotional support dog, Indy. And here comes Indy. We had money left over from our calming room, and I called the foundation to try to give it back, and I guess they don't take money back. And they said, no, use it for stage 3. So we were able to, Indy was one of our puppies that would come in and did an excellent job with students. And so I think I begged Carrie, I don't know how many times, to consider having him as our emotional support dog. So I'll turn it over to you, and she can kind of talk about the training and different things like that.
Yeah, perfect. So I will say, just kudos to Mrs. Bernung for all the work she did with that. The calming room and the redesign of the office has been a great space. Prior to, we kind of had an extra office that kind of turned into a storage catch-all room, and we'd stick some kids in there if they needed just to calm down, or a conference room, but then they'd get booted out because we'd have used for another thing. So this is kind of their personalized space, and so it's worked out really, really well for kids that just need a moment. And so that's definitely helped the calming or the, just a safe place. And then also we have quite a few students who do either virtual counseling sessions or meet with Fort County when they come in. That's just a nice area too, where they kind of have their own room. So that's been a great design of the office, and glad we incorporated that. And then as far as this guy goes, so we started his training in probably like late November, early December with Ava Newcomb, another Tipton graduate. And so she certifies dogs for all kinds of emotional support, therapy, different services. So she worked with him, and he honestly had a really good demeanor from the get-go. So when we started, he had just kind of immediately checked. There's so many competencies. I think there's roughly like 60 that they have to exhibit on a consistent basis. Like in the home, in the school, she took them to Tractor Supply, and they had, things. And so he kind of passed all those with flying colors. And so he was pretty good. And so he comes to work with me about 3 days a week, 2 to 3, kind of depends on what I have going on. And I said, as much as I would love just to hang out with my dog and take him places all the time, I do have some other things to do. So, but the kids know they can come see him. I try to be out there in the morning, and they see that Indy's in the building, or like we said, word kind of spreads fast. So a kid knows, oh, Indy's here today, I'm gonna go see him. I've already found myself taking a real second seat to people who need one. So yeah, we'll peek in, like, is Indy here? I'm like, oh, not today. I'm like, but I can help you. And they just say no. So yeah, the kids just love them, and the neuroscience behind a dog, it does, just petting a dog, seeing a dog releases oxytocin. It's a neurotransmitter in the brain that makes similar to endorphins or dopamine that just kind of give you that boost of feeling better. So it automatically relieves stress. I've just seen it with kids that maybe don't talk a whole lot to the adults. They don't make eye contact. They don't want to engage in conversation. But the moment you put a dog there, then you can sit down and they're petting the dog, and without even asking a question, they may say, I have a dog too, or what kind of dog is he, or what's his name again? And before you know it, you're having a back-to-back conversation, and they're telling you about their home life and their dogs, or just things that are going on, and things that they like to do and things that they don't like. And it's just really important. It's just amazing what the presence of a dog can do. So yeah, we've loved it. The kids love having them there. And sometimes they'll just, be in the hallways, and sometimes they'll go into classrooms. And Ava did teach him, we call it cuddles, but it's really kind of just light pressure therapy, where he'll just plop his head down on their lap, and he'll stay there, and they'll let him pet him. while they talk. Sometimes kids will get on the floor and he'll do a little bit deeper pressure where he kind of puts his body over them, and really just kind of like sits on them and gives them that pressure. And again, the neuroscience behind that just shows the stress reducing effects. And so, yeah, I think he's kind of cool, but but it's been really neat to see him engage in the school as well.
And then right toward the end of school, Carrie took him down to the elementary to kind of have him being trained to have kids read to him. Whether it's down in the elementary or in the high school, you wouldn't think we would have a need for it in high school, but with our ELL students who are learning English and not very comfortable with it, or even some of our just struggling readers can go and sit and just kind of read out loud to him. So that's something that is kind of awesome about it.
Yeah, so he went down and Ms. Stevens had him reading in groups of 2, and Indy was just going around to see him, and she said, you know, you have to read, you're reading to Indy, and so you need to make sure you're reading. They were really reading to a partner, but Indy won't come see you unless you're reading out loud, and then so he would just go and they could pet him for a little bit, and then they'd get right back to reading, and then he would go from group to group, and then we went to Mrs. Martin's room, and I have a mat for him, and he would just lay on his mat, and then kids would kind of come up and then like actually read to him, and then of course they could, you know, take a couple of seconds to pet him and snuggle with him. So, yeah, he was really good in the elementary as well. So it's been fun. Do you guys have any questions or?
Does he belong to
He's the
you?
best.
Or does he
Yes,
belong to
yeah,
you?
he was my personal dog before,
Okay.
yeah, before this.
I'm always excited when I see him in the.
Yes,
in the
yeah.
office. Yeah, I'm a dog freak, so that's, I love it.
It does. It just really brightens your day.
Oh, it does.
And we had a teacher I was on the story earlier. He was like, "Oh, it's a dog. He's not really a dog person." But Eddie went into his classroom, and some of the kids who wouldn't typically talk or step out came right up to Carrie and wanted to give him a treat. And they would pet him, and everybody was happy. And then I saw him later on in the day. He goes, Indy comes in, everybody's happy. He said, Indy leaves, and everyone's still happy.
Aw.
So he made that connection that, yeah, it really does have an impact on students and their mood.
Well, he's been very distracting.
He's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Bye, Andy.
Thank you for sharing.
All right, you good? All right. Well, thank you for that, and hopefully everybody's feeling better now that we've been visited by the support dog. But we'll get into, inside your packets this evening were the department reports from Mr. Jaworski, from Adam in Food Services, and Stephen in Technology. If you've had a chance to review those, didn't know if you had any questions or not. Was excited to see Stephen with a new strategy on some of the servers that are expiring and helping with our cybersecurity and things of that nature with some new plans. So was excited to see that. But did anybody have any questions or concerns?
I've got this on my mind, Rob, the save money and generate revenue. I did read a lot of the stuff we were getting rid of in the kitchen was broken, but is there like a garage sale? Is it like, do we sell some of that stuff? I mean,
I think it's pretty much trash.
is
at
it?
this point,
Okay.
yeah.
It seems like a lot of stuff. Like, what's going on in the kitchen?
I'm not sure they've been replaced for several years.
Okay.
So we did replace this year, and
I just, all weekend, there were garage sale signs everywhere.
I do like that entrepreneurial approach. I agree.
All right. Well, if there's no questions on that, thank you again, Adam, for the thoroughness and all that in your report, and appreciate it. Next, we move to our financial report to Brooke Cleaver.
Every other week. payroll.
So can you throw your microphone on, Brooke, so those watching, there you go. Thank you.
I was just going to say, I could definitely use that support dog in my office every other week for payroll. Yeah, good idea. Okay, for May, we ended the month with balance as an education fund $928,683.08. Operations fund, $1,500,818.04. Debt service, $2,357,218.47. And rainy day remains at $2,003,833.41. We secured an advance draw on property taxes in May. We received $1,576,505.17 for operations, and for debt service, $1,566,113.42. Interest came in at $13,219.64, and I have the debt statements that we'll be getting ready to pay at the end of this month. And the county has already paid us the rest of the spring settlement, so I deposited that today. It's about another 1.4 million to be split between operations and debt service.
Good. Thank you. Any questions on the packet?
Do we know how much we had to transfer for unpaid lunches this year yet? Was that the 36,000?
No, we haven't done that yet. I emailed Adam to make sure his staff have all their deposits made, so I don't have to amend a resolution. So I'll probably get that done at the end of the month and then bring the resolution to the July meeting. That seems to work best.
Just curious.
Yeah. Good. Any other questions for Brooke? All right. Thank you, Brooke. Appreciate it. Moving on to old business. We have this evening the second reading and adoption of batch number 5 of our CCHA board policy, administrative guidelines and forms. We've had a chance to review and comment on those. Within this batch, we have things from employee ethics, drug-free workplace, controlled substance policy for our CDLs, all the way down to staff discipline, resignations, and justifiable decrease policy. So those are due to be voted on tonight. So if there are no further questions or comments on them, I would entertain a motion and a second to adopt upon second reading batch 5 of the CCHA policies.
I move to approve batch number 5 of CCHA board policy, administrative guidelines and forms.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or anything for further discussion from the board? All right. All those in favor of approving upon second reading batch 5 of the policies from CCHA, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Policies are adopted. The last thing I have on old business is, hang on. I have an old business. Last thing on old business. So the Tipton Community School Corporation acknowledges this evening receipt of the City of Tipton's letter regarding the proposed Little League baseball complex. The correspondence was delivered via email late Friday afternoon on June 6 at 5 p.m. And this marks the first formal communication initiated by the city to the school corporation on this matter since discussion commenced. We appreciate the clarity provided by the city concerning its decision to move forward with constructing the baseball complex at the former Little League site. Tipton Community School Corporation remains committed to supporting community partnerships that enhance opportunities for youth and families in our area. We look forward to the return of Little League baseball to the city of Tipton in the spring of 2026 and to the development of a facility the entire community can be proud of. That concludes our old business. On to new business. We have nothing to vote on this evening, but you have received batch number 6 of the CCHA board policies for first reading. There's a link, I believe, in the packet. And between now and our next meeting, let's be reviewing those and submitting questions back to Dr. Glaze and CCHA on those, on batch number 6. On to the next part of new business. Our friends from R.L. Turner are here, and if you were in the building or the Inferno over the weekend, a lot of that work is the direct result of their leadership. So again, we thank you for that. It's a great space. Bids for the Tipton High School re-roofing project were advertised in the Kokomo and Tipton Tribunes on May 14th and the 21st, with sealed bids due on June 4th, 2025. Our alternator, along with 4021 Architecture, reviewed all the bids and determined that Hinshaw Roofing and Sheet Metal is the successful bidder. Our alternator is here at the meeting and will present the budget to the board. It is the recommendation that the board accept the budget as recommended from our alternator. The floor is yours, guys.
I've got some handouts here for you guys, just on the budget that rolled in.
Thank you.
Yes. Please. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sir. Well, we had a pretty happy bid day last Thursday. If you all remember when we were here to present the 90% budget, we had $2.5 million as the figure we were anticipating when bids would roll in. Happy to say that it came in at $915,425 under that projected figure. That's at $1,584,575 you see there. The rest of our budget is unchanged from the 90% approval. We have a lot of confidence in the bidder that was awarded, or that we intend to award, pending your approval. We had about a 45-minute review session of their bid, the complete scope of the job with them yesterday. A lot of confidence in their bid, a lot of confidence in their ability to perform the work. They were proactive in getting us their safety program, which obviously working in student occupied spaces is always of the utmost importance to us in everything we do. So that's pretty much my spiel. I would like to thank you guys in turn. I appreciate the gratitude for everything that happened in the Inferno. Tipton's a really special place to work, full of a lot of special people, and these are a lot more fun board meetings than a lot of other places we've traveled. So thank you guys for your continued faith in us as a partner.
You bet. Thank you.
I do want to take the opportunity to thank our alternator, and we are very pleased with the vendor that had the low bid. Shaw's does a lot of work for us on our roofing projects, and mostly repairs, so we're thrilled that they're going to be putting some new roofs on. And again, feel very, very good about the bids, and really appreciate all the work that our alternator's been doing in the background to make sure it happens.
Were they selected only because they were the lowest bidder?
Typically, yes, that is the process. We honestly anticipated that they would be high. They're very quality, great contractor with a great reputation, so to have them as a low bidder is a godsend to us. And while they are awarded, or tentatively awarded because they're low, we're very grateful that they were low.
And they have been good stewards in the past?
Yep, absolutely. Dan Benefield here uses them for a lot of direct work. They were actually invited at his behest to bid the project. Their safety manual's great, their quality program is great. We have a lot of faith in Shaw.
And where are they from?
They're down 28 in Frankfort, Indiana.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns regarding the budget, guys?
Is the allowances, is that just in case money, or is that actually budgeted to something?
Yep, so how that works, typically throughout a project, if we run into something, and we try to get as scope specific as possible. So those are all allotted for specific issues that might not be finite yet, but that we could foresee happening as an extra layer of insurance for you guys. We've never had a project here where we didn't return a substantial amount from the allowances on these projects. So that's just insurance for you guys for unforeseen
They
conditions.
start tearing the roof off and find something, then there's money in there already.
Yep, absolutely.
And so we approved the 90% prior.
Yes, ma'am.
So this was based on that 90%. So if something goes haywire, there's another 10% that could be added to this bottom line?
No, ma'am, actually from 90%, there's savings of, over $1 million when you add up the, CMC fee and PMP bond, decrease here. So, it's actually less cost to the school corporation at this point.
Any further questions on the bid?
Thank you guys again for your time, and thank you for continuing to trust us.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I have a question. So when this project goes live,
Yes, ma'am.
who's managing it?
We are managing it with our on-site presence. We intend to mobilize by the 30th, pending material deliveries and our ability to, get the rest of our safety barriers and everything set up. We'll have on-site supervision, and then the project management team is Jeff Pratt, who is the senior project manager. I'm the project manager. Sam Medlin is our project engineer. We've all three worked on every previous phase that we've done up here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan, do we anticipate this being done by the time school starts then?
I think that might be pushing it.
But it shouldn't, it's not gonna interrupt.
Should not. We,
I like those
we don't
forwards.
we don't have a complete tear off of any roof. So it, there might be a little bit of noise, but we're always going to be very careful with that. But, the buildings can be occupied while we're doing these re-roofs. And I'm thrilled that they're going to start on the 30th of June. That was better than I anticipated. So I'm just glad we're going to get moving. And then Jeff brought up the fact that they said, so what happens if we finish this phase early? Can we go to the next one? And we're like, oh yeah. So hopefully the weather will work out and we can get it done faster than we think.
So no further questions. I'd be looking for a motion and a second to approve the bid for Hinshaw Roofing and Sheet Metal as the successful bidder for a roof project.
Yeah, I move to approve Hinshaw Roofing and Sheet Metal as the successful bidder for the Tipton High School re-roofing project.
A second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second. Any further last minute questions? All right, all those in favor of approving Hinshaw Roofing and Sheet Metal as the successful bidder, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda this evening is the approval of the staff handbooks. Staff handbooks are updated and presented annually for approval by the TCSC Board of School Trustees. There are changes regarding social media policy and the annual sign-off of technology responsible use form. The approval is recommended for the handbook for classified personnel, the transportation handbook, and the food service staff handbook that was included in our packet. I would look for a motion and a second to approve the staff handbooks as presented in our packet.
May I ask a question?
You may.
In the transportation handbook, and I'm sorry, I can't pull it up right now, is our director, coordinator also certified with her CDL? Or
She does have her yellow card. She does not have a CDL.
what's the difference?
She has a yellow card, so essentially the CDL has that next level of licensure. She can drive one of our small utility buses, the yellow bus 101. You might have seen her around town, so she's able to drive that. She's able to drive a smaller bus. She was willing to do the CDL. We asked her not to get the CDL for a couple of reasons. One of which is just with the way that we do our pulls and the way that we do our drug testing, different things like that. We need to have somebody who can supervise that. And if she's in the pool, that makes it a little bit weird. So we decided that. And then we also have our two mechanics have their CDL license as well, which is new over the course of the last year.
So it's not in the job description
No,
for
no.
that position to have a CDL.
Correct. She has everything but that. She goes to the annual training. She does everything. She just does not have her CDL.
Thank you.
So I'd be looking for a motion to approve the staff handbooks that were in section 10.3 of our board packet.
I move to approve the corporation staff handbooks, including personnel, transportation, and food service staff.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the staff handbooks. Any further questions or comments or concerns? All those in favor of approving the staff handbooks in section 10.3, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Handbooks are approved. 10.4, part of our agenda is the declaration of surplus equipment. Eric has already let the cat out of the bag on this a little bit, but we ask for the school board's approval this evening to declare surplus equipment from the high school fax lab and the STEM lab. Much of the equipment is no longer usable. The memo that's attached in our packet described the items declared surplus so that they can be legally discarded. So I entertain a motion and a second to declare this surplus equipment and allow us to get rid of it.
I have a question again. Legally discarded, does that mean off the asset list?
Yes, and none of these items would be on our asset list because they're not going to be over the $5,000.
Okay.
So it's just pots and pans.
Beakers and
Correct.
stuff like that, yeah.
And the other side of it is, when we can recycle it, we recycle it. But some of the things that may not be able to be recycled, so that's kind of why I say legally discarded.
Okay, so do we have to approve everything that's under $5,000 in value as a board for discard?
For discard, yes, that would be part of the process, but we would list those out specifically, those items if they were 5,000 or more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. Again, looking for a motion and a second to declare the surplus equipment for the ability to be discarded.
I move to approve the declaration of surplus equipment.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments on this? All right, all those in favor of the declaration of surplus equipment for discarding old equipment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. And next on our agenda is the permission to close out the Tipton Middle School and Elementary ECA funds. The Indiana School Board of Accounts requires school board approval to close out extracurricular accounts that are no longer utilized or are underutilized. Both the elementary and the middle school have such accounts and are requesting permission to close the accounts and transfer the remaining funds, which is $4,794.76 for Tipton Middle School and $12.35 for the elementary school. Sorry, John, you win that one. So Brian got smoked in that one. But anyway, we're trying to transfer those funds out to each of the schools' student activities account. The specific accounts and balances that I mentioned are shared in your board packet, and I'd be looking for a motion and a second to close out the middle and elementary school ECA funds.
I move to approve the closeout of the middle and elementary school ECA funds.
Second.
Perfect. And motion and a second to close out the ECA funds. Any questions on the list or the things that were in your board packet? All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of closing out the middle and elementary school ECA funds and transferring that to the student activity accounts, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other, moving on to the last part of our agenda, the other matters to come before the board. September 15th, we have the Professional Learning Experiences Advisory Committee that will meet. June 19th is the last day of summer school. So for those of you who are working in our buildings, I want you to hear me say that. June 19th, the party's over, and that's the last day of summer school. And then July 8th, we have our next monthly board meeting. The other thing to close this out is we have an executive session with our partners at Policy Analytics after our July monthly meeting. I sent you all an email on this to kind of talk about the financial modeling that they've been able to do for us on the impact to our operating budget as a result of Senate Bill 1. There was a lot there, so what we're asking them to do is distill that down into some talking points, and then you will get the comprehensive readout. My suggestion is to run it through ChatGPT and have it dumb it down for you. But at the end of the day, it is exhaustive. But obviously, it does a great job of detailing exactly where we're gonna be impacted. So that'll be coming in our July monthly meeting. So if there is no further matters to come before the board, I would entertain a motion and a second to adjourn our meeting.
I move to adjourn the June meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Let me get the picture with
Yes, absolutely.
Shrimp.
Yes.
Hey, guys.
Don't. Already done.